about who knows what.
Incredible.
Yeah, incredible. I'm glad today we're joined by one of our hobby friends and like
One
I'd
of
say
our oldest,
childhood friends.
oldest.
Brad
Yeah.
Smith. Hey Brad, nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you. Some of the veterans of the podcast may remember Brad from a bunch of episodes, including I think episode 2. Were you on
And
episode 2,
three, and
Brad?
three.
Let's hope they don't remember.
I hardly
Yeah.
remember the
I
all that
I
stuff.
found when I transferred all our podcasts over to a different source and such, I was amazed to see how many times you were on, or at least that you were on the first or the second and third. I don't know if you were on more. Oh,
Yeah,
you were on the Blood Bowl one.
yeah, of course.
So I don't know. You
Is
were
that a
on some of-
segue, Eric?
No, that's not a segue. That would have been a good segue. That's too premature. We're rushing things too much.
Oh,
It's
okay.
going too
All right.
fast. Greg's
But if
in the
this was a
chat.
podcast, that would have been a fine segue. But yeah, no, it's not. But yeah, it's good to have you.
Remember that
here,
good
Brad.
season, that good blood season?
We played 2 games, right? At
That's
least some
pretty
of us
good.
did.
I went to John's house once and played a game.
Yeah,
Just John and I, but then the one time you came, Brad.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Well, I guess when we talk more about Blood Bowl later, we can probably even mention that.
We could.
Greg, luckily, since your microphone's probably so far from your face, that didn't clip.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty far from my face.
That's not ideal for a dynamic microphone, Greg.
Do you think he cares?
He doesn't. Yeah, well. But yeah, so yeah, Brad was on a few of our early episodes of the podcast, which was fun. Admittedly, I don't really remember what we talked about, and but the only thing I can say for sure is that the audio quality was almost certainly bad because I didn't know how to record anything at the time. But now, and also didn't know how to edit anything.
But now.
now it's marginally better, right? So,
Yes, marginally better is right.
It says episode 2, Fire Slayers and Mantic Games Walking Dead miniature game.
Oh
Damn.
no. Ooh.
We joked about the fire slayers going off to the magma park or whatever and playing baseball.
Do you think they'll ever support that army again?
I could see them making a generic character model for whenever they want to have a new box set and
Yeah, they
want to
start doing
half-ass
that.
something.
Episode 7 was called The Aurochs and Age of Sigmar and Warhammer Quest. That sounds like a good episode.
I would say
Yeah,
they'll
everybody
never
should go
revisit
listen to
that
it.
army.
Well, don't you feel like that's true for a lot of the Age of Sigmar stuff? Like,
Yeah. Because I feel most of them, like, I mean, we really, aside from the Stormcast bullshit, I don't think we've ever really seen them revisit an army that they did before, that they had redone, and I guess maybe that's because it's too new, but I think at least some of them they will revisit eventually. But
do you count like Underworlds and all of the little?
I was not counting that, but that's a good point. So they do at least vaguely revisit the factions.
I kind of feel for Age of Sigmar since they have to they're slowly going through and completely redesigning all the things and giving you something you never wanted. It's slower, you know.
Yeah.
But because even if you go to like 40K or something, it took 8 years for the Necrons to really get anything substantial.
Was it only 8 years? That's not even that long.
We have an episode 38 was called I Am Alfarius. Like, what the fuck could we have even talked about in that? Something to do with Alpha Legion, how they're bad models?
It could have been that, or it could have been that new book that isn't new anymore. What was it called?
Praetorians of Dorne?
That one, yeah. Brad, did you read that?
I think I did.
Jesus. Were you reading the Siege of Terra?
No,
I am.
that's good.
Well,
Thanks,
I
Eric.
read the first book.
Well, yeah. Which one was the one where like they put some of the Alpha Legion on Terra? Is that book?
That's
that
that book.
Yeah, I read that book.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I read that too. That might have been the last 40K novel I read, and maybe that's what got me to stop.
Oh, John French. Well, then you better not read the first book of the Siege of Terra.
No, but no actuality, the book was fine. I thought the ending was a little meh, but the beginning and a lot of the lead up I thought was good. And then it kind of just petered out, like, I guess a lot of the Black Library books.
Weak spoilers ahead. The Alpha Legion aren't really in the first Siege of Terra book.
Okay.
Or not in a meaningful way. It looks like I just started the second one, and within the first chapter, there are two operatives talking about stuff. So I guess they're in the second.
Okay.
Who knows?
Well, how many have even been released?
4.
Oh wow, already?
The fourth one is Sagittarius, I think, which is one of Dan Abnett's ones.
Okay.
The third one was a Gav Thorpe's one.
Okay.
Called First Wall, maybe. I don't know.
Man, Eric, I'm impressed. You were reading them?
I mean, yes and no.
I can't read.
Okay. Well, so maybe we want to. Typically, we first start talking about like what we've been working on in the hobby. So maybe we want to talk about that briefly. And some of that even relates to you, Brad.
Okay.
Some of my shame.
Should I go? Or who's going first?
I'll go first.
All right.
Then you can be last, Brad.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've
based on the quality of the content, I will actually be last, even if I don't go last.
That's
well,
fair.
Brad. We've discovered that Brad struggles to take photographs.
It's not pretty.
Hey, Dave. Nice to have you. Dave's here. Dave, we're with our childhood friend Brad. Brad was a veteran from early episodes of the podcast. But
and then we seemingly forgot about him for years.
Well, to be honest, you guys did it too late. I go to bed early.
Yeah. No, I mean it's true. I mean, Brad
even preceded our blog. He started his own blog, hobby blog, before we started ours.
That's
true. We actually had a post or two on the Ere We Go blog.
Shit. Yeah. Yeah, it was the thing. And
bring
I think
it back.
I don't know if I think I could.
Well, make it into a Blood Bowl blog called like Ere We Go to the Stadium.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'll write an article for it.
Nice.
Solid. You already have content lined up.
Already have content.
Brad can write music for the teams.
Yeah.
Really unlistenable. Perfect.
Let's plan this out, Brad. We'll write a review of the new book.
Yes. And then we'll talk about all the games we didn't play.
And the games that we want to play and won't.
Yeah.
Maybe. Who knows? Well, I guess in terms of what I've been working on, I'm still working on...
Actually, important news. The Ere We Go blog is in the YouTube chat now.
Oh, why would you do that? Why would you do that?
It's still here. It's still there.
It still exists. Hell yeah.
I don't even know how to find it.
I just typed it in.
If you...
Holy shit. Why would you do this?
Here it is.
Oh, it makes me laugh. He has stuff about army lists thinking he would play.
I mean, you might have actually played.
There was a little bit of plan. We played. Back in those days, we played a little bit. When was this? 2011. My goodness. We were complaining about Failcast back then even.
Jesus, I don't even remember this. Like, I made, like... Holy shit, did I started converting like a Grey Knight orc?
Yeah, you did.
Did I finish that?
Yeah, I have them somewhere. Couldn't
Holy
find them for the
shit.
show
We have a
tonight.
blog post about it.
Yeah.
We do?
Yeah.
I don't
Like
oh,
our blog.
I don't remember that. Jesus Christ.
Oh, I think that was when it was finished. Yeah. I think I have a post about assembling a whirlwind. What the fuck?
Holy shit.
Oh, I had a whirlwind once. Did I give that away? What happened?
Oh, we have a post about Finecast and we called it Failcast. I mean, it was a pretty big fail. At least initially, and like, oh my god.
I like this orc boy you made on the most recent post from when
2011.
Yeah, 2011.
2011.
No, he actually does look good. I like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, this the taking us back.
Well,
This-
that brings up a good question. When were the Plastic Orc Boys released? How long has it been?
Well, do you count the original ones, or do you count when they cut a new sprue with like new bits on
I mean,
it?
I feel either
Probably
would be
don't count
fine.
that.
But when they
Don't count
cut the
that,
new
that's
sprue, it
bullshit.
was largely not really anything different.
It wasn't. I mean, it added like some heavy weapons and
Yeah.
I
a
kind of
knob.
think that was around 2011, honestly.
Yeah, the kit might not be that old from when the blog started.
Because
Mhm.
wasn't it around? Because there was a post on here about assembling a battle wagon that I remember.
Boy, this Brad,
Working
this
on you.
blog predates our blog by like 2 years. You are the true hobby hero.
Yep, Warhammer Hero right here for you.
That's Warhammer Hero material, all right.
No
Well, I mean,
kidding.
if you were, but like a real Warhammer hero would really be like talking it up a lot more about being a
That's
hero.
true.
So
That's true. I really give back to the community. I'm a pretty big deal. I had a long-standing blog.
Lots of content, lots of posts.
Start a lot of projects, finish none of them. I don't know.
I think
Yeah,
we
I
can
see
all
a
relate to
Grey
that.
Knight Orc project.
I just wasn't very good at it. But
Oh.
that's the lesson to learn, is to just keep trying. That's the lesson.
One of your
And-
posts is about a Penny Arcade comic where it has Gabe and Tycho painting miniatures, and with the quote, "These miniatures would be a lot easier to paint if they weren't so fucking small."
Yeah,
I think that's a
true.
pretty true sentiment. I mean, yeah. So,
yeah, it's
but yeah, there's some good stuff on there. That rhino that we worked on, Eric,
yeah. It was
and then
fun.
the battle wagon. You
Yeah,
came over to my apartment and we like banged that out in a night.
Yeah, good times. All those evenings coming down Friday evening, going to Squishies,
Yeah,
whatever that place was called.
Squisitos,
Yeah,
family Italian restaurant.
You think they're out of business?
I'm pretty sure that location doesn't exist anymore. But I'm pretty sure they're a franchise, a local franchise. I'm pretty sure they have other locations. But
yeah, that was fun. Fun evenings. Trying.
was that the same night that we broke, or you broke the big poster?
Oh, it could have been. It could have been.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
times. Full of ambition back then. And
Mm-hmm.
There really was a lot of content on this blog, Brad.
I
Like
don't.
lots of posts.
I fear you're mocking me.
No, I'm not legitimately.
No,
Like,
there were actually posts.
Well, when you get all your friends to do stuff for you, I guess you have time to post things.
I mean, that does help. But so, I mean, that sort of brings us up to another thing, getting your friends to do stuff for you. I mean, maybe we did do some stuff for you, but there's also a lot of stuff we didn't do.
Yeah.
So that's a good segue into the next talking point of like stuff that I've been working on. So I don't even know how long ago this was. Do you have an idea, Brad?
I mean, it was when the kit came out.
So,
or at least when that code. What was the codex called?
Demonkin.
Yeah, Corn
So-
Demonkin.
So at least 5 years ago, I think, when the plastic corn Bloodthirster came out, I told Brad that I would assemble and convert a Bloodthirster for him.
If he buys it.
Fast forward 5, 6, who knows how many years it's been. It's still not done. But
The army doesn't exist anymore. Doesn't exist.
but I've
In your
started to
defense,
work
Adam,
on
you
the
weren't-
model again.
In your defense, Adam, you weren't working on it at all.
Yeah, in my defense,
In all
I
of
had
those
forgotten about it. But the only thing I can say, I did actually start the conversion. It's just I never finished it. And the main thing that I had done was I had been working on making his axe not quite as huge. Even though
It's hard to tell.
it's
You
hard
were you were intimidated by how cool the model is.
Didn't want to damage it or
Yeah,
do
so I
anything
mean,
un-
the axe he's holding up now, it's fucking huge. It's still fucking huge, but it's, I feel, roughly about half the size of the original one.
it
This
doesn't have
model
big
looks
fucking
like
veins going everywhere. That's good.
this model looks like what we wish the Golden Demon statue looked like.
Yeah, the new one.
Doesn't
That's
his
pretty
head
much
kind of look
true.
like the Golden Demon, the old Golden Demon?
It does
It
kind of.
does.
The new one certainly doesn't look like that.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
actually, we can look at
The
this.
new one looks like
Oh, I see a flex coming on, Adam.
Yeah. What is this? We can check it out. What do their heads look like? Yeah, they're pretty similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, there. It's yeah.
Brad, what I should have just done was given you this trophy, and then you could have used that.
Yeah.
it would
Yeah,
be
so-
bigger.
It would
Yeah,
be
it's-
bigger, and everyone wants their models to be bigger, right? Everyone wants the model.
How
The
would-
guys from Penny Arcade did.
Yeah.
Easier
How
to
would
paint.
we know though? We haven't read the rules to the new edition. Have you, Brad?
I bet Brad.
course
has.
not.
Yeah.
No, come on.
Speak for yourself, guys.
Well, I knew you.
Come
I knew
on.
The only one who could have read the new rules, Eric.
I read
If you-
half of them.
If you'll
Jesus.
indulge me, I'll sidetrack here a little bit. When you're speaking about rules, I was talking to Greg about DMing a Dark Heresy game.
Mm-hmm.
I opened up to the chapter to being a game master. It said like the first responsibility of the game master is to know the rules. And I said, well, I closed the book and pushed it aside. Don't read rules. Don't read rules.
It's like I'm done with this.
Well, see,
Like,
but I
oh.
mean, to me, that almost seems
That's
wrong.
a little
like,
bit not true.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I feel if you're the game master, you set up the thing how you want.
You are the rules, Brad.
Yeah, you are the rules.
You wanna facilitate a total party kill, you can do it.
You are the rules.
But yeah, so I was a bad friend and didn't assemble the Bloodthirster for Brad in a timely manner. Now the army would have used it for us no more.
Well,
But
you
I'm-
should now build it and paint it.
God, I don't want to paint. This is so fucking big. I've never painted anything this big.
Well, do it as speed paint.
It's Brad's model. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, like, we don't
Nah,
care
but his
about it.
speed paint, Brad, you know his speed paint would turn into a month-long paint session.
Well,
I
you
mean,
could-
I could do it.
You could paint it only with an airbrush.
I mean,
That
you
would
could
look
probably
bad.
get something to look kind of
You
good.
could get something kind of.
I'm not a good airbrush painter.
What color should his skin be, Brad?
I mean, it
Red.
should red, right? Yeah. When I originally
It should
had
be
the demon,
black.
when I had the Demonkin army, I kind of wanted them to be like a more orange than red. I thought that was kind of interesting, but I wouldn't do that now.
So what you're saying is you'd want them to look more like Gritter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess so. Now that I'm actually working on assembling the Bloodthirster, the model's huge. Most of it's hollow, and since it's hollow, or we can actually just look at some of it on the screen.
What are you gonna
here.
put in there? What are you gonna put in there?
Liquid
I'm not
resin
putting
so it will slosh around.
Oh, that's true. I could fill it with like Starburst jelly beans or something.
Monster energy drink, and it might slowly eat away at it.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good. But so since it's a big hollow model, there's just so many like seams that like ideally you want to fill them in with like modeling putty or something.
I see you've been starting to do it.
Yeah, no, I've been working on it. And that's
So,
probably
Brad,
what's
of
most
all
annoying.
the greater demons, which is the worst of like the newer plastic renditions?
Oh, like in my opinion?
Yes.
Yeah. Not rules wise, because none of us know that.
No, I don't know the rules. Which one do I? I don't like. I guess the Zinch. I'm not a big fan of Zinch.
Okay.
I mean, I guess like the Great Unclean one is just kind of this big blob, right? But
Yeah.
that's just
I
kind of like
almost thought the Zinch was the best.
these two kind of. I don't know. No, I mean, I think this one. I think
He's the worst. The bloody thirster is the worst.
You think?
I think.
If he wasn't like leaping off the ground, be a lot better. I mean, like,
well, you can get Scarbrand's legs and just have them on the ground.
Yeah, that's what
Brad,
ideally.
You better buy the Scarbrand kit.
But like, look at this ridiculous shit. One of the potential options, instead of this huge model just attaches by these flaming skulls, this tiny little piece. But you could, if you wanted, instead you could have them seated even higher on this.
Yes, please.
And like, I obviously opted not to do that because, like, holy fuck, like, you knock this over, it's ruined.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Hey, Meandering Shade's here. Hi, Meandering Shade.
Yeah, nice to have you.
Like,
here.
who thought this was a good idea?
Also, Meandering Shade, we're here with our childhood friend Brad. And Adam, 6 years ago, told Brad to buy the new Bloodthirster model and said that he'd build it for him. Now 6 or so years have passed, and he has finally been shamed into trying to do it.
Yes, much shame.
Yeah, well, I think all the great unclean, or the greater demons are relatively good. They all like stuck relatively true to their old designs, which sort of by its nature made them all kind of not great.
That's fair. Fair.
But still all pretty good.
Also, this Bloodthirster, it's a pretty nice model. The head that we have in this picture is the only head that's usable. The other heads, like, look. Let's see if I can show what they look like somewhere.
I just think you guys got to admit that the Bloodthirster is the most excited to get to Warp Tour.
I mean,
yeah, obviously.
That's a given.
I mean, yeah, the Slanesh one is just slowly walking there.
Never get
the
there.
Nurgle one isn't moving. And the Lord of Change is too busy with its pyrotechnics to impress the other greater demons.
Okay, look, here are the heads. So it's like the first one in black here is the one that I was using. And the other two look more like dogs or something. And like, They're
No.
pretty rough.
I mean, that's kind of a Cornite thing.
So looking at the other on Games Workshop's website, the different greater demons, I think the Zinch one is far and above the best one.
That's why I'm not on the show anymore.
It would be good to have dissenting opinions.
Yeah.
I almost think I like the greater unclean one, the original metal one, better than the new one.
Well, there's like 4 different ways to build him too.
Yeah, there
Mhm.
are a lot. I mean, they're all pretty nice. It's a lot nicer to have a plastic model than all those train wreck metal models.
That would just, I mean, they were.
Does anybody remember the Demons of Corn skull cannon model?
Uh,
Not
That's
really.
why. It's rough.
The one with the Chaos Dwarf models?
No, that's like the hell cannon.
no, they're like riding around on this little like. Yeah.
Is this the Demon Engine thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Meandering Shade says Corn is supposed to have the head of a dog, and I think that was a common mutation in the realm of chaos for Corn. Yeah, I mean, that's probably true.
it is true.
But
Just that's not cool.
yeah, I'm not
And
particularly down with it.
We certainly know cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least the skull cannon is interesting. Not
Can
in
you
a
s-
good way, but
Can you put that link in Hangouts, Greg?
Yeah.
Well, I can
that's
bring
not
it
good.
up. Oh
It's
my
not
god, I forgot about this.
I think if the Bloodthirster or the Bloodletters weren't awkwardly perched on a pedestal on the back, it would be fine. Because then it would just be a weird thing.
That is true.
I
But
kind of like it. Yeah, but the guys riding it, they can't be there.
yeah.
Whoa.
But it's
Yeah.
out of stock, unfortunately.
It's because no one ever bought it, not even when it was released.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I actually like it. Aside from the riders, they look horrible. Or
They look just
the
more
models
tactical.
themselves are fine. It's just them riding it is bad. No, but it's true. I guess, I mean, Korn has always had sort of like the dog-like things. Like they have all the flesh hounds and such. Most of those models over the years have always looked horrible. I think some of the newer ones are
The newer ones are all right.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, I like the new ones.
Also, yeah, that's what I've been working on. This Bloodthirster. It's going okay. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with his other weapon. Do you have any suggestions, Brad? You want him to have a whip?
You know, I'm going to say that we should probably look in the rules and see what's WYSIWYG.
Oh, I
I
mean,
think
if
that's
it
a whip.
based, well, so I mean, they have all the different heads and stuff, and I think those are supposed to be for So okay, so the one, the one that I'm assembling here is the Corn Bloodthirster. Okay, well, actually, let's have people guess. What do you think he's called?
Isn't there one like Undying Rage
Oh, that seems
I mean,
right.
that's
or Insatiable Rage?
Yeah,
or something?
yes,
the Corn
that's one of
Anger
them, Brad.
Furnace. The Anger Furnace.
No, that's not it. But Brad got close. But that's the Rage one. That's the one with the two-handed axe. So it's not this Meandering Shade, unreasonable peevishness. This one is okay. So the other one, which has like a chained hammer and an axe, is called Wrath of Corn. And the one that I'm assembling, which has a whip and an axe, is Unfettered Fury.
That's right.
The Unfettered Fury.
Well, let's stick with the whip.
The whip,
I feel that's most classic.
that is like the classic attire. I mean, I might. The whip is just gonna fall apart looking at it.
It is true. That is true. But maybe that's what everyone's have always wanted.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess it being plastic is still better than the old one that had the metal whip. That even if you pinned it, Meandering Shade. There's the classic rip-off Balrog loadout.
Yeah,
pretty much.
That's true.
Pretty much.
If only it looked as cool as a Balrog.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's what I've been working on.
Not the wimpy Silmarillion Balrogs, though.
That's right.
Brad, you would know.
I wouldn't know.
You read that stuff.
I did, and you're pretty much right.
There were a whole lot of them, right?
Yeah, and like elves would just cut them down like it was candy.
Well, do you think...
Much like you or I cut down candy.
Yeah, I cut down a lot of candy.
So yeah, that's what I've been working on. Eric, I think you recently finished.
Yeah, being consistent with like always overextending every project I work on. The Ava, I had another week of dicking around with Ava Unit 1, but it's done now. I've say it's done. I assembled
made
its
the little platform or whatever, launch platform. That's cool.
I finished putting on like almost all the decals directly to the plastic, and then I sprayed like a matte varnish on it, which I feel the matte varnish would work better if it was on paint. Is this like, depending on if you're like, you can kind of scratch off the varnish and it's obvious if that happens, I think, 'cause it's just on the plastic.
Okay.
I mean, it's not that obvious, but you can kind of tell.
Mm-hmm.
But which kind of towards that end, I got a cheaper Iwata airbrush, a Neo, I think it was called, and holy shit, does that work better for varnishing models.
Is it because the needle size is different?
I assume that's what it is, because the other airbrush I have is like a more expensive one that has a smaller needle size, and it's doing base coats of things or varnishes. Like the spray is a lot smaller, but using this, which like a larger needle size, which I think the size is whatever yours is, your Eclipse. And my goodness, it made it easier to varnish this. And I suspect would also make it easier for just basic base coating and things
Painting
like
in
that.
general.
Yeah,
So the one you have is for all the detail work
that I won't do. That's
that you won't do.
Yeah, that I'm not skilled enough to do. Yep. Well, I also had like a really cheap Masters airbrush that I got before getting a better compressor and such. And I thought I would try that first. Like maybe I'll just use that for varnishing and the other for base coating or whatever. But it like didn't even spray from it. I don't know, maybe it had partially corroded or got clogged or whatever. So it's like, fuck this. I'm just throwing it out. So it's in the recycling bin.
Well, the little Neo one or whatever you called it, how much do they cost?
Like $60 or something.
Okay, that's not bad. Yeah. You can have an airbrush for all of the different applications.
Yeah.
Brad, have you ever used an airbrush to do anything?
Never.
Yeah. So the Neo has a 0.35 millimeter needle, and I almost think it's like a 0.18 is the other one.
I don't know what the Eclipse has.
I think it's 0.35.
Okay.
But
Meandering Shade says varnishes do tend to work better through like 0.4 needles and higher with an airbrush.
Yeah, they're just
Yeah.
It's not because it is a little bit thicker. I mean, I would thin them and stuff, and it would work okay. But
Yeah.
so it was easier without as much effort.
Okay, so that's what Eric and I have been working on. Brad, have you been working on stuff as of late?
Mostly doing my favorite part of the hobby, which is buying things. But yeah, I bought some Cryptors, and I want to convert them into Chaos Spawn.
The Crypt
And I've
Horror
been,
models are a lot nicer than the plastic spawns, from what I remember.
yeah, I would say that that's for the most part pretty true. Don't worry, I'm still going to use some of the old Spawn bits to make them a little bit worse. Um, but yeah, and I'm trying to work on some Possessed at the same time.
Do you have a sense of what you're gonna base the possessed models on?
Well, I mean, I have a squad of the new Chaos Space Marines.
Okay, yeah.
And I've got some of the old. If you remember the old Forsaken kit, the Chaos Forsaken kit for Fantasy, there were like a bunch of mutated guys
I
and
sort
whatnot.
of remember them. Yeah.
Yeah, I did some converted Possessed with the small Marines.
The small
And
Marines,
used some of those arms and such before, and I think it turned out pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, actually, am I correct? When years and years ago, when they released, like, it was one of the first multi-part plastic kits Games Workshop released, the Warhammer Fantasy Chaos Knights, or like Chaos Warriors. They had like a mutation sprue and stuff, which I think for a long time people would always use that stuff
yeah,
to
so I
convert
do
Space
have,
Marines.
and I'll risk showing it on the camera. I think I got one of the arms you're talking about.
I think that is, yeah, I think that is one of them. It's been a while since I've actually thought about that stuff.
Yeah, I think the details a little shallow on them.
Well, actually, that's a funny thing. Do I have a question for people? Do any of you have a particular piece that Games Workshop has made that is like the one you hate the most and you hate to see it the most? I think I have one. Do any of
The zombie head.
that's
That
that's mine too. The
the
old
separate orc head that people hang, that to be hanging from their waists, that people then use for.
Yeah, so it's pretty much the same thing. That's exactly what I was thinking too. Like the old like zombie kits had like a zombie-esque like dumbfounded stupid face, and you see it's much less now, but for a long time you would see it everywhere. Like if anyone converted like a dreadnought that was broken open or had like it did anything, they used that head. And what made it so bad was it was the scale of it. It was massive, and people still use it to this day, and I don't think I've ever seen something use it that I didn't think looked stupid. I hate that.
But Adam,
Hate
do you know
that
how
head.
many of my boys have used those?
If they're on like the waist of a model or whatever, that's fun. I'm not really upset about that. But if you take that to try and use it for like a head of a model, like, oh my god. I
Yeah.
really dislike it. Well, if anybody here in chat, if there's a particular thing you hate seeing, you could put it in chat. I guess in terms of like models that I hate seeing, it's the Dark Imperium plastic Chaos Cultists.
Yeah, there.
I do not like them at all.
Hate's a pretty strong word, but maybe I'd say I'm a little fatigued of the one Nurgle champion guy. Gets
Oh, the
used
Brian Nelson sculpt that, like, at least for a
That
long
was
time,
great.
it was essentially almost like a rite of passage to convert
Everybody.
that Nurgle
Yeah.
champion into something that wasn't a Nurgle champion. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
You
never
still
actually
get
did
the
it.
Nurgle champion.
I've never done it. It's
Why
a
don't
cool model.
Adam, why don't you tell to Brad that if he buys it, you'll send it for him?
I mean,
Make a conversion of corn, blood, best, longer
yeah.
for the list.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty neat.
Yeah, looking at it, so the Awada HPC Plus, which is the original one I have, I guess it is a 0.3 needle size, and this other one's a 0.35, which is what the Eclipse is, the one you have, Adam, which is.
Okay.
But yeah, it made a substantial difference for.
Were you
doing
just
very
using the
big-
Vallejo
I was
varnish?
using Vallejo varnish. Yeah.
Oh my god, Meandering Shade has a good one. He just said, specifically, Catachan arms and Chaos Marauder arms, just the way they look connected to their respective torso, with no anatomy, just bloody stuck on. I know it was constraints of manufacturing multi-part kits, but at least, but they at least did a bit better with the orcs. Yeah,
Yeah, I
no,
feel
I
the-
agree.
The orcs were done substantially better in a lot of cases because they were cut, or like there was at least some consideration to that.
Well, yeah, and so I mean that, well, like, I feel you pretty commonly hear people like complaining about newer Games Workshop kits about how they're not multi-part and you can't do all the crazy conversions and stuff with them. And I mean it's true, but if they still had stuff like that, we'd have more kits like the Catachan. And like they do not.
They would still get better at doing.
They would get, but yeah, it just doesn't work very well with that.
Yeah.
Like to have like a flat surface to attach an arm and then allow you to like position it and rotate it. Like if you've ever noticed, like if you played around with your arm, it only has a certain range of motion. And not all of the ones that you could do with some of those kits were at all natural.
Yeah, that's true.
But what was even better was when you had the hybrid plastic metal kits, where you'd have like, remember the old orc stick bomber unit or whatever, where they had the metal stick bomb arms and the metal like grenades and stuff which had to glue
the metal
on 'em.
accessory sprue.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were.
And
the
they
best
probably
times.
had two additional heads that you could use.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's good to hear you're trying to make some chaos spawns, Brad. How many do you think you want to make?
To start with, just these 3, which would get me up to 5 total. There's three bodies in the.
Do we have
in the
pictures
kit.
to show of any of the stuff you're working on?
I mean, I sent that terrible picture. Yeah, really kind of like in the planning stage.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, the Crypt Horrors, they look the boss. So the picture that you sent, like that's one of the front bodies of one. That looks just so much better than the plastic Chaos Spawn models. And like
Yeah.
Is that like face? Like, what is that from? One of the pink horrors or something?
From
Or one?
the chariot thing.
Okay. And like
Um,
that looks cool. That actually looks like fierce.
that's a plan, and I don't plan to sculpt like a tongue in
That's
there.
fine. Yeah.
But what I am thinking is on the other on the real chaos spawn kit, they
Mhm.
have these little small like little mouths where you could like put them on the body somewhere to be like
Okay. Yeah.
weird and stuff. I thought about kind of like on the nub for the head, where the
Mhm.
real head would have gone, is putting like another mouth on that. It's kind of like
That would kind of be neat. Even creepier. This sort
yeah,
of reminds me of like the Alex Headstrom pink and blue horrors of Zinch. Like they actually looked fierce and creepy looking, whereas the newer plastic ones, not not so much. I mean, they're certainly better than the old derpy looking metal ones.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So no, that's cool. I look forward to seeing more your progress with them.
yeah. I plan to at least try to do one.
That's a good goal.
It's a
Yeah.
good
Good
start.
goal. What about you, Greg? Have you been working on anything? Are you still making like noise?
I've still been slowly making some noise tracks. There are a few more on my SoundCloud page, but aside from that, I haven't done any miniature related work, which isn't a big surprise to anyone who's been listening to us.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's what we've been working on. Do we wanna I think we were gonna talk about Blood Bowl today, is
Blood
that
Bowl,
true? Are we
Blood Bowl.
ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
We're as ready as we're gonna be because we all love Blood Bowl.
I
Or
mean, I
maybe we
like Blood
don't.
Bowl. I've played some games of it, some, not lots.
Well, so I
I-
guess sort of I certainly wasn't at all thinking this would happen, but I guess they're releasing a new version, a new edition of Blood Bowl.
Yeah.
It
It's
doesn't
called
seem very necessary, but I guess it's just a way to sell the same thing again.
I the thing that I'm excited the most about is
Mhm.
that it seems like they're attempting to make passing more viable.
Less miserable.
Yeah, like from
So
what
they're
I
actually
know,
changing the rules?
yeah, I think it has
That's
a new stat
crazy.
just for passing, if
Huh.
I read the leaks correctly.
That's
That's
interesting.
actually kind of good because I mean, I'll admit I've not played Blood Bowl that much. Like I've played a few games in person and then a few games like on Steam on like the digital version. And to me it was just like as soon as you do anything with passing, like almost guaranteed your turn would end there.
Yeah, it's just not worth doing.
Yeah, like the least you had transferred the ball, the better, because it was
Because
just such a
you're
big risk.
asking to like fumble it or just like trip
Get
or
a
like whatever.
turnover. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was
Well,
also
I guess that's kind of neat that because the edition that we have been playing was essentially just the same edition as before.
Yeah, so the reason they're doing this, I think, is because they have actually changed some rules
So
and
that's
added
cool.
stuff.
so it
Maybe
says
they'll
here
streamline it a little bit such that it is a
hours
bit
of
quicker.
playtesting and feedback from many of the best players in the world have gone into crafting the very best edition of Blood Bowl to date, putting into practice more than 30 years of game development. At its heart, it's the same Blood Bowl you all know and love, but polished to perfection to improve the gaming experience for everyone. So yeah, that's interesting. Like, because yeah, there are certainly elements of it where like you can tell that
It's an
is
old
in
game.
a modern board game, because like there were tons of other games released, like what were they called, like Dreadball and
Guild
Dungeon
Ball.
Guild
Guild Ball,
Ball, and
yeah.
like I mean, we played one of those. I don't remember what it was called. Maybe it was Guild Ball. We played one of those, and it was one of the first things Dreadball we talked about on our blog when it started.
I think it was literally our first post.
Yeah.
Was about Dreadball.
And like
of
that,
all
I
things.
remember it was fun. I really liked it, and it was the pace of it was much faster. Like you would actually score a few times, or you could. Whereas in Blood Bowl, it's in all times I'd play, it was a slow, grindy experience, and
If you let somebody score, you might as well just stop.
I feel the game, you would have to, if you played a bunch of games, I think it would streamline and be quicker. But for all of us to just play a handful of games here and there, I think we never got to the point that it was fast
second
paced
nature,
enough.
and
Yeah.
I appreciate the notion that they're selling the rulebook separately, which that to me makes it sound like they realize and expect people to have the last edition of the game, which I mean, all the stuff in that was all well made. It was all
Like all
really
the
nice.
templates are good, the boards are good. Like, yeah, all that stuff's nice. The only thing that wasn't good was how they released the rules, honestly. Like over separate little books, and
I like how the rule book here doesn't say like the official rules, the second season, or something like that. So no,
it says
it's
official
just
merchandise.
it's there, the Blood Bowl rules.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
good. And I also think it's kind of interesting, like the art style is like it's very distinct and different between each edition, and like this new one is very different too. I don't know if I like it as much as some of the other ones, but like it's interesting. They really went whole hog with the dumb, goofy Empire stuff. Like
Well,
this
so
guy's
jumping
smoking a
back to
pipe.
jumping back to something you said, the little official Blood Bowl merchandise thing. My take was that was supposed to be like a play on, like for the NFL or sports
Yeah.
leagues, how they have a seal that they put on all the things, so you can feel good that you paid the extra money to get the official NFL hats. That was my take on that.
That's probably
yeah,
true.
because like all their merchandise has that, or pretty much. So yeah, so I mean, I guess hopefully they give like a different pitch to play on, and it's not just recycling.
I'm sure they will.
Also, they don't like. It is sort of interesting. Like, I guess they're having the box game will have a new Empire team and then a new Orc team. Maybe like I wish they had chosen something other than Orcs, and really Empire too, for that matter. But
Yeah,
I'm happy to see new orcs, more orcs.
yeah, I mean,
I will say that this is gonna be like a different. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be a different human roster than
yeah, I think it is.
the last edition, so it's not quite as bad. And
No, I mean they're like the Empire. I sort of always imagine there were a whole bunch of different teams that all kind of took off of whatever city they came from.
Team could they have done? Like they've now made a lot of them now, right?
well, there's a lot they haven't made.
I get
Like Chaos Dwarfs are still missing. Amazons are missing. Okay, Norse is missing.
Yeah, they never made the Norse models. Like that was
Vampire.
the team
Vampire counts.
I thought they had. Oh, well, no, they have undead, I guess. Right?
They have undead. They don't have vampire. Which
they still did do a pretty good job of making a lot of teams, though, right?
yeah. I mean, yeah. I think like early on they were pretty slow. Like like maybe they thought we might just give this up after we release it.
Wow, I must say, I thought the the first, like the more recent edition with the plastic models, I thought their human team was lackluster.
These
Ooh.
ones, I really do not like them.
I mean, they're well sculpted, but I don't.
I feel they really,
Caricatured and really.
yeah, they really went like, whereas a bunch of the other Blood Bowl teams weren't as weirdly proportioned and heroic scale. This, they really jumped on the heroic scale looking thing.
I think I like the one with the pipe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love them. I mean, it's still good. They have a different human team. Like, although I will say, I think most of the Blood Bowl teams look pretty nice. Like, all the elf teams are great. And I mean, you see them pretty frequently in all sorts of different conversions and stuff for all ranges of
The
things.
goblins are great.
The
Yeah.
halfling team is excellent.
Yeah.
The models. We're just talking about the models here. I don't know about the in-game.
I mean, I used one of the Wood Elf models to make an Arco-Flagellant. So yeah, they're nice.
Hopefully the orcs are better than these, though.
I hope so too. I mean, so the one that has like the little pipe, they're kind of funny, but like to me, it's just like you're gonna break that right off. It's already broken off. It's not in the pictures, but I wouldn't be surprised. And then I guess they also, is this like a hero or a star player they show at the end? I like his little bird carrying the medals.
I wouldn't win those medals.
No.
I think he'll be a good. I think people probably use him for like a rogue trader and stuff.
Well, yeah,
No,
Meander
he
Shade
will.
just said that they'll be conversion fodder and prepare to see hundreds of Ink 28 conversions.
Nope. Yep. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
Well,
that
that's
is
kind of why I
probably
wish
true.
I wish these were a little bit better.
Well, I mean, these really go heavy into the huge feet, huge hands.
Huge helmets. But
Yeah.
mainly just the headdresses on them are huge.
Yeah.
I think they're well sculpted. I mean, I don't love them. And I wouldn't want them, but I still might buy them.
Oh, great! Don't. If you buy them, I don't want them. Don't
Like
send
that
them
star
to me.
player, he is so squat looking. It's almost like they really did want to appeal to like that old look of old garbage Blood Bowl models and other things, like really jumping in on that old style model.
I hope they
That
make a
bad
Norse
style model.
team. A cool Norse team. That's what I want most.
I would like that too. You win another Golden Demon trophy with them, man.
I guess. I would have to assemble and paint one.
There would have
So I don't know. I think this is actually kind of exciting. It's good they're continuing to support the game because, like, I know tons of people still play it a lot and really like
We
it.
tried. We've
tried, yeah. I mean,
then COVID came along and like destroyed the season that hardly started, but
Eric, you and I
mainly
we played
due
a game.
to me. But
but I think what's almost most encouraging is they're actually suggesting they made some changes to the game. And I guess that could be a slippery slope. Like, they could potentially change it in a way that makes people upset. But I imagine, based on like what they're saying here, that they worked pretty closely with people who've actually played it a lot. So I think they probably, whatever changes they did make, they probably made in pretty good judgment, because
yeah, they've had so long to look at that stuff.
yeah, they have. So yeah, I'm actually pretty excited. Maybe we'll actually try and play it. Or so maybe when it's released, we could have a challenge where everyone could try and assemble and, dare I say, paint a team.
I'm in.
Could we do it? Could we do it? I think we could do it.
I mean, I could maybe do it.
I could probably.
would-
How
I would
many
do it.
team members do you typically have? Like 10?
It's a
Well,
bunch.
12
10
is
to
the lower number.
Okay.
I think I think you put 11 on the pitch.
Oh my god. That's like more models than I've painted in the past 2 years. Whoa.
Speed paint.
Ever.
Yeah, okay. No, it's not ever. Because like the year that we did like the Pilgrim thing and the Curse of the Alabaster thing, like I think I painted like 20 some models that year.
Dave, do you want to get in on it? I think Dave wants to get
Dave
in
said
on it.
sure.
Yeah,
Meandering
man.
Shades up for it. Okay, so everybody here in the chat and Brad, you in our conversation, it's gonna be up to all of you to force us to do it.
Gonna be epic.
I think we can do it. I would do it because I've talked about it for a long time, actually wanting to have a team, to play with a team, and
Well, I think one thing that would be cool about it is I feel it's a game that consistently is brought up, and I want to try to play now and again. Every time football season in the States starts up, it's like, yeah, we could pass the old pigskin around.
We could scrimmage for some more yards.
Yeah, for some more yards. Yeah, that's right. So I feel in that sense, we would probably make more use out of them than most of our Warhammer models.
And maybe it's cheating, but like odds are this thing isn't going to be released until next year, so like you can probably get a head start.
Yeah,
no,
I
I mean
could
that's
paint
true.
my human
I
team.
mean, in many regards, like just sitting here on my work desk, I count 2 Blood Bowl teams. I see 2 from where I'm sitting, and I know I have more.
Just have to get working on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I could paint my human team. Like, the models aren't very nice, so it's like, why should I care about them?
But you have
But
them
they look-
assembled, right? Yeah, that's half
Yeah,
the battle, man.
The Biokis, the body more Biokis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess as I said, the team I would most like to play would be the Norse, whatever they were called. I would like to play them, but it seems unlikely that I will do that unless it's something that they release right out of the gate with this new edition. But I guess we'll wait and see what happens. I mean, so in all truth, like an orc team would actually be kind of fun. It has been like probably like 15 years or something since I've painted an orc or something. It's been so long.
I like orcs. Orcs are fun. They were pretty fun to play in the game too.
Okay, Meandering Shade says, I can also see 2 teams from where I'm sitting. Just pushed together, not cleaned or glued yet. So that's further than what I have. Where I'm sitting, one of the boxes was opened, and I used one of the models to convert a Arcoflagellant, so that's the Wood Elf team. And then I have the Halfling team sitting here, still in its plastic wrap.
Wait a minute. Why do you have the Halfling team?
Greg sent it to me.
Why doesn't he have it?
Yeah, so I have that.
There you got a team ready for you. It's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I also have the Dark Elf team. I think those are the only ones that I have, maybe.
Yeah, I've got some work sprues, like Blood Bowl team and human actually, and I don't want them.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, but so I guess I kind of got, and I got the old Tomb Kings, and they're almost kind of painted. Some of them.
That's pretty impressive, Brad.
Yeah, I think I painted like 3 of them. So I don't know if you can really field them anymore. especially with the new edition. But
Well, so currently all the different teams are they in like separate books and stuff? Like in the for the last edition, the rule book, did it have rules for several teams or no?
my understanding is that like the books they released all those like Spike journals,
Okay.
and then they finally like released this like
a compendium
thing
Okay,
that
yeah.
had like all the rosters of the new teams, maybe even the old ones.
Okay.
And so like that was the thing to buy if you wanted.
So it was like all there. Okay.
Yeah, I think it had most of the good stuff from the Spike magazines as well.
Yeah. Okay.
In it, so it only took them 2 years to like realize people aren't all that thrilled about like carrying around like 4 different books for stuff.
Well, maybe when this new edition is released, they'll create a new app that you can pay monthly to have all the rules for all the teams that you purchased.
I don't.
So that sort of brings up another interesting point. Did any of you download the new Warhammer 40,000 app?
God, no.
I did not.
I did not. Well, all I heard was it was sort of a dumpster fire.
That's what I heard.
Like, you have to pay a fair amount of money, and it isn't very functional or user-friendly. That's what I've heard.
I find it odd that they still haven't released the new 40k rulebook digitally. I mean, they have the short rule thing, but...
Oh, really? They haven't? Wow.
We complained about it last week or the week before, and I still don't think they've done it.
And all the digital books that you can buy, do you still have to buy them through the Black Library?
They now have a thing called Warhammer Digital.
Okay. Wow.
But I find it odd that they are on the Warhammer Digital site. They are advertising the Warhammer 40,000 app. It's free.
But it's not actually free.
Yeah.
Or it's only vaguely free, I guess we'll say.
So if you buy a codex, I thought I heard they come with codes now.
Yeah, but I think the codes only work to access those rules through this app.
Right.
So it's they're not like I don't think they're giving you a nice PDF or an EPUB file or something that you could view on different media sources and therefore be more useful.
But I think because then I think even if you pay the monthly fee, it doesn't give you access to all the rules. It still only gives you access to the ones you purchased, but it gives you access to like an army builder or some shit.
Yeah, it's mainly that.
See, like, I could have seen it would make a little more sense if, like, maybe you paid monthly for the app, and then just as they release new army books and stuff, you just got all the rules for all of that.
That, I feel, would make it seem like a more reasonable sell, but that is not the case.
Because then, like, then maybe you could still have the rules for all the armies you didn't play, but you didn't have to spend, like, I don't know how much the army books cost now, like probably like $50 or something. Because I feel if you played competitively, like, you would almost have to have all those books and be relatively familiar with them, or at least the ones that people commonly played.
Didn't they release some like news that they're gonna like quote unquote like fix things or something?
Oh, I would imagine they did. But I'll be honest, I don't spend much time on the Warhammer community site.
Oh, okay.
Let's see, maybe we can find it.
Yeah. There's an article. And they could do their little roadmap thing.
Okay.
And they're gonna make it easier ever to subscribe and unsubscribe. Probably important.
That is probably
the
important.
unsubscribing thing.
And it says on the August 3rd, it'll include in-app searchable core rules.
Wait, it didn't do that?
I heard it was just some Google Drive thing that they like slapped in there. It sounded really bad.
Ooh.
Um,
Oof. Okay, that's even
pathetic.
worse than I thought.
so I think like that problem is being addressed when you see the week of the 17th of August when it says new ways to find your rules based on your
Yeah.
feedback. You know?
Oh my god. Yeah,
Or
app
people excited
improvements,
about
updates, and a month free.
Well, we missed out on that, I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
You're supposed to subscribe that week.
Yeah.
Because I check the Warhammer community page like every day.
That's impressive, Brad.
It's really pathetic.
I check every like once or
I
twice.
delete the Games Workshop email from my inbox every day.
Do they really send an email every day?
It's frequent.
Huh.
It's
Damn.
pretty
Well.
frequent.
Well, I think this weekend there may be pre-orders for new starter boxes that just have less models than in the main box. Are anyone interested in those?
No.
Always in less. I'm interested in the sense of less models, but not.
Yeah, I mean, those appeal more to me because there are less models in them. But I don't think I would buy any of them.
Yeah.
So in
The cheapest one
October-
would probably be if you wanted like 10 Necrons or something. It's probably the cheapest way to get such a thing. It'll probably be like $35 if the other starter box was anything to go by.
Yeah.
So, like,
No, Brad, you were right. If you were already subscribed, they give you a month free, which just seems sort of weird. It's like you have a month free, but you probably can't really go anywhere to play to use it because
I don't know. Maybe other countries can play.
yeah.
maybe.
But okay, so I mean, it's good at least they're trying to make the app better, but you almost question like before they put anything out, particularly something that you would subscribe monthly, you really think I really would have thought they would have spent a lot of time trying to make sure it was ready.
Well, in a way, do you though? Like they just because even like 40K, all the rules, like sure they play test stuff, but mainly it's just they release it into the wild such that at tournaments and stuff it can be play tested and they learn what needs to be FAQ'd. So like why would this be any different?
I mean, that's true.
Like they certainly do have play testers and people help, but like ultimately I feel they more rely on just major tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, really.
And such that they can see that like, wait, what are people doing? I didn't intend that.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Then they don't have to pay them for it.
Okay, well, so Brad, are you looking forward to playing your first game of ninth?
Whatever
And
edition
what
this
edition
is.
even is this?
I think
It's
it's
not-
9th.
I think it's ninth.
It's ninth.
No. I am like a lot of like the reason why I want to put the possessed and stuff. Well, I guess like the spawn would only be for 9th edition, but I am pretty excited to maybe try to play kill teams against like Eric, and that would be what I'd use the possessed for.
I would maybe try to use those Sisters of Battle I painted.
Well, I would assume, yeah.
I mean, admittedly, I don't have the rules for those Sisters of Battle.
But that's inconsequential.
Like, whatever.
Doesn't matter. I guess if I did have the rules, I would maybe realize that I probably need to double the amount of models I have.
I mean, yeah, you only have 5.
That's right. Well, I guess I have the Flagellant, so that's another.
Aren't you supposed to have like a roster of like 20 guys, and then like each game you're supposed to pick?
Yeah, but well, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. let's
That's
not
a
get
lot.
ahead
Yeah, that's a
of ourselves here.
But in all honesty, I was intrigued by like that Crusade format for like 9th edition.
lot.
Yeah,
it intrigued me a little bit. I thought I could slowly get into making a real army, and then I realized it's me, and that won't happen. But they had me for a little bit. They had me in the first half.
Yeah, I understand. Well, in a little while, in less than a year, Brad, you'll have a Bloodthirster.
Yeah.
Not that
wait.
you could use that.
Well, I
for
think I
anything.
could actually.
In Kill Team?
Oh, not in Kill Team. God, no.
Yeah.
Well,
in
maybe.
Like
Why not? We can make
Yeah,
the
why
rules.
not?
It's
Yeah,
our game.
That's true.
We can forge our own exciting narratives.
He could go down like the big loser punk he is pretty quick.
Yeah,
To Eric's guys. Could happen.
maybe.
Well, in all truth, Brad, I'm hoping to have it. I'm trying to finish it in August. And this is now
Cool.
August.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's almost 11. Do you want to try to wrap this up? Because, like, I probably should go to bed.
I should probably go to bed too.
We all have work tomorrow.
We talked about good things. We laughed. We maybe didn't cry, but we laughed.
It's true.
Yeah.
We didn't.
Well, so yeah, I guess so. Yeah, we can probably call this to a close. Thanks, Brad, for joining us again. We'll have to try and have you back more regularly to talk about stuff because it's good to have a different.
Maybe even next week.
Yeah. Wink,
Yeah.
wink.
Can you determine the topic, what we might talk about the next time you're on?
I proposed to Greg talking about like doing true scale Marines and how Primaris kind of changed that paradigm.
And completely innovated all of your plans to create a Chaos Army?
Oh, yeah, yes, no.
1,000 Suns Army?
Well, that did. The Primaris did kill the 1,000 Sun. That's right.
I mean, yeah, why would you want that army now? And
yeah,
you wouldn't.
Well, even the East Space, I've kind of gotten over it though. I figure that's why I'm corn, because they're really going to channel that rage of being like shorter than everybody else. They're like really upset about it. So
yeah,
they have to be pissed.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that we could talk a lot about that.
Yeah, it sounds like a good topic to me.
We can talk about it. But yeah, so we'll also have to have you on again, Brad, to talk more about our efforts into Blood Bowl and talk about the progress on our different teams.
Yeah. Let's get serious about Blood Bowl. I'm always down for Blood Bowl.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Thanks everybody for joining us in the chat as well. Hopefully the week's going well for all of you, and hopefully it continues to go well. Keep on enjoying the hobby, whether that's reading, painting, buying, collecting, whatever it is.
Nah, it's true. It's true.
Yep. Nice to meet everybody in the chat, and good luck hobbying. And
yeah, be safe, everybody.
Yep. Talk to everyone soon.
Sounds great.